ready? Yeah, crypto friends, the show starts now. Welcome to the Weekly Roundtable, where the takes are hot and FOMO set to disable. Welcome to the Weekly Roundtable, where friends are made and we all drink that red maple. Break. Juan's got his eyes on the latest somehow. He being forex that make you go wild. Crypto crazy is a man on a mission like a Tesla. He most def got a vision. Weekly Roundtable, we got no cables. Predicting the future using their bagels. Chart is throwing out numbers, no trouble. He finds the gems for real, no struggle. Calculations running through your mind.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining the stream this week. It is Thursday, January the 23rd. Happy for you to join us. Don't forget to like and subscribe. I'll say that right off the top. We have a packed show today. We got a lot to go over, a lot of news, with the elephant in the room, the inauguration, the new presidency, the new administration being pro-crypto. A lot of things coming down very quickly. We'll try to get through everything today. And we also are going to be starting our wallet giveaway, our Ballet wallet giveaway. We have 2 to give away. Here they are here. And we are going to be going to be doing this contest for 4 weeks. Now, the rules are going to be pretty simple. You don't need to watch the live stream live. You can actually watch the recording and still enter. So what we're going to do is at some point through the stream, I will mention a phrase of a few words. And all I want you to do is to take that phrase, comment it in the comments below this video, and then you will be entered into the wheel picker, which we will do live in 4 weeks. I will bring up the rules once we actually mention the phrase. We'll do that later on in the show. But first, let's get on with the live stream. A lot to get to. First, I want to mention or say hi to the panel. Juan G, Crypto Cruiser, and Terry Motive. How is everyone doing this week?
Another exciting week in the world of crypto.
Absolutely, getting more and more exciting as we go.
Good, yeah, good volatility on the lower time frames. Fun scalps.
Yeah, that's for sure. We'll be going over the charts, obviously, as well. Just going over the live chat here. We have our usual chat resident Black Cat. Just going to say hello to him. Okay, so let's get right into it. We will get to the charts, and then we'll get to the news, which there's a lot of. So first of all, we are going to go over the Bitcoin chart. Okay, so here's the Bitcoin chart. Currently, we are at 104,132. As Terry mentioned, it has been crazy volatile. The lower time frames have been up, down, up, down, up, down. As you can see, look at these wicks, and it's been crazy. I mean, if you've been following the charts and getting into some pretty good quick trades, scalp trades, you've been doing very, very well today, anyway. But there's been a lot of up and down, so you got to be very careful when you're trading using leverage. Nothing really has changed according to the chart. I mean, we still have the liquidity zone here, which has held up very well. The DEMA, the 200 DMA has acted as support, has bounced off that. We are above 100,000, which is good. It seems here that we've actually turned the 100,000 mark from resistance into support, which is really, really nice to see. I know a lot of our listeners and viewers, I get comments sometimes, especially on Telegram, where they say, yeah, sure, Bitcoin is up, but my altcoins are down like crazy. And I feel your pain because, most of my portfolio is in altcoins. So I can attest that a few of the good ones outside the top, 10, 15, 20 are down significantly. And that raised the question as to whether or not we are actually going to have an altcoin season. A lot of that liquidity from that would normally go into the altcoins seems to have pushed into the memes and right now, obviously, Bitcoin and the rest of the top 10. You see XRP still doing very well. Solana's had a few pumps last couple of days, and there have been a few others that have done well. But, I mean, this has been a very strange market. We've had a lot of outside influence that we haven't had in previous bull markets. For example, with the whole U.S. election and the pro-crypto administration in there right now. But we will be touching on that a little bit later on as well. Gentlemen, I'd like to get your input on what you're seeing in the last week on the Bitcoin chart. I'll start off with, let me get rid of this because we can't even see chart down. Juan down there. Okay, there we go. So Cruiser, I'll start with you. What have you seen the last week for Bitcoin? And, do you anything concerning or everything looking pretty good?
Well, Bitcoin specifically, it just seems like it's just building up to something. Is the feeling I get, and seeing the chart here now, it just kind of confirms that feeling for me. Very bullish. I think it's getting ready to take off. It's just been teasing us for a little while. I think she's ready to go.
Awesome. Terry, yourself.
I'm not entirely sure. I think we could see a check down yet. I really was expecting to see more of a check down because there was a little bit of a flag pattern, working on the daily, that consolidation. We just haven't seen it yet. But that tell you what, that 100,000 area, it was the top of a local range and stuff, and it does look like that may have flipped to support. The longer we maintain above that, the healthier it is. Otherwise, this could be a second deviation. If it's a second deviation, it drops back into that range. You're probably going to see a drop back to that, that demand zone.
Yeah, I agree with you. And we have, a few news events coming up that could, we could be in a wait and see mode. And I think maybe a lot of investors are waiting to see what happens with a few things that we're going to be discussing. Juan, yourself, what are you seeing in the market?
Pretty much what I expected, right? Those who hopefully have been watching the channel prepared themselves for a nice range. And you saw that Bitcoin hit that nice 108, went down to back to 100, came back right up to 104. So I'm hoping that you guys were prepared, bought low, sold high, bought low, sold high. So I don't see this pattern changing anytime soon, which is a good thing, right? I like it when it's kind of now stabilizing above 100. I hope it'll continue to stay there for the next couple of weeks.
I'm just going to zoom in here to this one candle. And every time I see this form of candle, different names for it, you got the spinning top, you got the Darth Maul, whatever you want to call it. But this is an indecisive candle. The bears don't know what to do. The bulls don't know what to do. And then it's followed up by kind of a stale candle here. So as I mentioned, I think there's a lot of wait and see. Now, part of that could be, as I'll scroll down here, I'll go to the news. On the 29th of January, which, that's 5 days away or 6 days away yet. But it's, there's a big Fed interest rate announcement, and then the FOMC, and that will be, depending on what kind of news comes out of that could be a very, well, they always are a volatile day when those conferences come or those meetings come. But especially this time, seeing as how, last time Joel Powell was very, very dovish. Negative in the market, hawkish, whichever one. And he mentioned that there may not be rate cuts, and he didn't sound too optimistic when it comes to the U.S. economy. And then, of course, numbers came out after that, and things were better than expected, and so on and so forth. So hopefully this time he's a little bit more optimistic in the market, but we'll have to wait and see. That's going to determine on, depend on Bitcoin, where Bitcoin is next week. Hopefully we are a little bit bullish, maybe a little bit higher than we are now, because if the news isn't good, there could be quite a bit of retracement. If the market's already pretty shaky at that time, it could be a bloodbath. It could be fire in the streets, or it could be discounts on your favorite altcoins. We'll have to wait and see. The go over Bitcoin dominance. I did do a little bit of zoom in here. Okay, so I've noticed that on Bitcoin dominance, we did get that dip where it fell off a cliff, but then it's kind of slowly been going up. So it's actually created an upper trend, and then we have this upper resistance, kind of creating like almost a flag here. It's getting very, very close to the top. As you can see, it's bouncing off the 200 there. There's two scenarios. One, we have, it breaks down from this pattern, because typically a pattern like this, well, I shouldn't say typically. I don't know what the percentage is. Terry, you may know a little bit better. But when price action goes on a cliff dive and then consolidates, almost like a bear flag, usually it breaks to the downside. That's what we should hope for, because then that would mean that the altcoins will begin to rise, and we might make up some of that ground that we've lost. But on the bearish side, if it does fill out this W pattern, we could bounce up to this previous trend line, rising trend. Hopefully we get a rejection from there, but if we break out through there, then that's definitely not good for the altcoins. Again, it's a wait and see. I'm not really sure what's going to happen. No one really does, but everyone's got their own opinions, and I'll ask around the table as well. Actually, I'll start down at the bottom. Juan, what do you feel in your gut, or from what you've seen in the market? What do you think is going to be the outcome of Bitcoin dominance? Do you think it's actually going to finally stop and go back down? We're going to get that altcoin season we've been waiting for?
I don't think so yet. I think that, yeah, we're eventually going to get this alt season. But I don't think the market is ready for it. It's all about liquidity and how it's being built. And the fact that we're still ranging, meaning that they're still trying to collect liquidity. So until that, that gets stabilized, it might take a little longer. And don't forget too that I'm not surprised that this got delayed a little longer than usual when it comes to the alt season. I think the ETF kind of played a small role in this, and it's kind of been delaying the inevitable push towards the altcoin season. So just you have to hang tight and just kind of pay attention, keep your ears to the ground, and keep tuned into our channel.
Yeah, Terry, yourself, what are you seeing with Bitcoin dominance?
Yeah, absolutely the same thing. I think it's probably going to bounce around a little bit. Consolidation is good. I don't see a problem with that, actually. I think that's pretty healthy for us. That's certainly better than going dropping. The dominance really, really has to come down for alt season. What we need to see, in my opinion, is for Bitcoin to establish the high and then stay relatively near it, ideally, and either you consolidate, do some sideways chop, or you enter some flaggy descending consolidation, but nothing extreme. If we get an extreme drop, then that just kills the alts. But right now there's too much hope for Bitcoin, and so money's going to follow that. And when it's like, when it's doing okay but starts to look lackluster, that's when people start looking for something that's with better returns.
And that's usually later cycle activity when that happens. Cruiser, yourself.
I have mixed feelings about it myself. I mean, there's no way to know what it might do based on this chart we're seeing right now. I would like it to bounce off that resistance and head on back down for the sake of all the altcoins. I think most of us are in that situation where we want to see the altcoins thrive. It's anybody's guess at this point.
Yeah,
it's going to be a waiting game, and the next week will I think it'll play out and show us what it's going to do here by the time we come back next week.
Yeah, I agree. Now, don't get us wrong. There will be outliers. Usually those in the top 10, top 15, they will still hold up fairly well. It's those ones that are smaller caps, lower down in the rankings, that are going to take a beating so long as Bitcoin dominance continues to rise. And for those that don't know, all that means Bitcoin dominance is that the majority of the liquidity in the market is flowing into Bitcoin, whereas less is flowing into the altcoins. When Bitcoin dominance begins to drop, it doesn't necessarily mean that Bitcoin price is dropping. It just means that the altcoins are doing better against Bitcoin when it comes to price and when it comes to the charts. Okay. The last one I want to show is USDT dominance. Here we go. Still below the trend, not really doing much, consolidating, chopping sideways, which some people, Terry included, like to see. This one, I don't put as much stock into it, especially now, because there's a lot of institutions are getting into Bitcoin, states and provinces and different countries and just the lizard people, but the institutions. So, this, I don't think this has as much weight as it once did. But it is nice to see the dominance on USDT drop. That just means that there's more money, more liquidity in the actual market into the tokens that we all love and enjoy. But we still follow this one anyway, just in case. I did have one other chart that I've been following lately. It is the others chart. I should put this actually on the weekly, gives a better perspective as to what I'm looking at here. There we go. So there are So here is the others. This is the basically all the crypto minus Bitcoin and Ethereum. So it's basically all of the altcoins, and it's been following in this pattern for quite some time, all the way back to December of 2020, and we are now getting toward the end. And if you know anything about patterns and charting, when you get to the end of these types of pennants or bull flags or whatever, when it gets close to the peak, 75-80% to the peak, they either break to the upside or break to the downside. I'm hoping, obviously, because this is the total market cap minus Bitcoin and Ethereum, I'm hoping that it does break to the top side. And these lines up here are just kind of levels that I'm going to be DCing out of my my positions and my altcoins. But we'll go through all that, exit strategies and laddering out once we get to that point. But we're not quite there yet. It's at 9.81% dominance. We'd like to see it get up to this 11-12% and then break out. So that's those charts. Any questions on any of those charts, gentlemen, before I move on?
Actually, when we kind of look at these charts, they're very helpful on not only identifying your movement, but when to enter. Like if you ever wanted to see when to decide, you would kind of look at this as, okay, decision time is coming, and then switch to like a 1-minute chart, and then you can see with a little bit more granularity where you want to enter or where you might want to exit. So this is a great opportunity to kind of learn about best entries and best practices. So I like this chart. It's very helpful.
Yeah, agreed. Black Cat throwing this in the ring. He figures 130 to 150,000, then a 60% pullback. Whoa, that's quite the prediction there, Black Cat. 60% pullback in a bull market. Wow. Or do you think the 130 to 150 is the top? Let me clarify before I go ahead and say that that's your prediction. Okay, so moving on. Sorry about this. Okay, I'm going to go to the liquidations first, and then move on to the cycle top indicator. So here's the liquidations in the market. Let me give this a refresh. They were, for a long time, they were pretty heavy on the long side, and as you can see now, it's fairly even. Long liquidations to short liquidations. That's on the daily. Let me go to the weekly. Yeah, pretty much the same on the weekly. Maybe a little more for the short side. So the leverage in the market it no longer is concentrated on one side or the other. It's fairly even, which in my opinion is actually a good thing. It doesn't mean, because like we saw last week and the week before, the liquidations on the long side were very, very heavy. So the market makers and lizard people, they wanted to get down there and scoop up all that liquidity, which they did. We saw Bitcoin, dip down to 90,000. I believe it got to 89,000 or high 88s on some exchanges, depending on where you're looking at. And it did scoop all that. So that actually looks fairly healthy. I'm not sure if you guys have seen or read anything different, but the liquidity and liquidations in the market looks relatively healthy. I'm not sure what you guys feel on that.
I definitely agree with that. Go ahead.
I have one thought on that. I was wondering about this when I was looking at the chart on the liquidation map yesterday, I think it was. I wonder how many people got impatient with the lack of movement and just closed their positions, or are people just not placing the buy-ins? I just wonder if it's not partly impatience.
I think a lot of it honestly has to do with the fact that we had that period there where Bitcoin, like I said, dipped down to 89.90. It went back up. We created a new all-time high at 108 or 109, what it was, and then all the way back to 100,000. So I mean, the volatility is all over the place. I think people are a little bit fearful. They look at the charts, they do their TA, they put in their trade, fairly confident that it was going to go one way, and it went the other. And I think that happened to a lot of people. So now it's more of a no one's really sure what's going to happen, and they don't want to take the chance of getting liquidated. So they're waiting to see what, a clearer sign as to which way the market wants to go.
Right.
I think that people have been learning from our channel and decided to take our advice and play the game, right? Like no longer is everybody just trying to hold on at the bottom and hodl. I think people are taking advantage of the volatility and putting their sells where they need to and putting their buys when they need to, which is a lot healthier. And that means one side is eventually going to win, right? Like if you're holding on to that sell and it goes down to 80, you're killing it. And if it goes back the other way, you're killing it. So I think this is a great opportunity to trade because it's balanced. It's a little safer, right? When you have opposing forces versus one-sided of liquidations. So that fear of getting wiped out in one shot has lessened to a degree. And I'm hoping that you guys are taking advantage of the market because it's a fun time right now.
It's very fun, especially if you are on the right side of the market price action. If you're on the wrong side, it's not very fun at all. But yeah, you're right. We try to get our viewers and listeners on the right page and have an idea of what the market is doing. Okay, so now moving on to the CBBI. For those that don't know, this takes all the major top signals that people refer to, and it combined it all into one chart. I have taken a couple of them off. I've explained before. They're really no longer viable because it's just not at this point in the market. But all the other ones, you got your price cycle top indicator, the new pull, et cetera, et cetera. And so what it does is it creates this chart, and it gives you a number out of 100 as to how close to the peak that we are. And so currently, like I said, we're at 75. Previous bull markets, we got up in the 97, 98 range. Last market, 99 before that. And so right now, we're still looking pretty healthy on this one. I wouldn't say there's a long way to go. We have come up a long way, but we're nowhere, according to this chart anyway, and taking into account all these indicators, we're nowhere near a cycle top currently. It's anyone's guess as to how high we're actually going to go, but right now there is still room to run, and it's not time to get panicky yet. And as I had mentioned, we are going to let everyone know when we are deciding or when we're thinking about starting to take profits and ladder out. That time is coming soon, but it's not quite here yet. We will make sure we keep you informed. Now, previous weeks, I've shown this chart, gentlemen. I've never actually asked any of you if you had any comments or questions about this, or if you agree or disagree with this kind of an amalgamated chart style. Everybody likes it then. All right, good.
I do like it. It's interesting. I'm not entirely sure that we get a super high top on this one, though. I mean, we're looking, it's looking kind of twin toppy right now, right? I see
currently,
some potential there. Yeah, I see some potential for that anyway. So I'm not entirely sure that we get a really strong drive up. And the last time that you had a lower followed by a higher peak, there was like an inverse head and shoulders. Right, so the prior cycle, basically, in the dip in between that first high, there's an inverse head and shoulders at the bottom. So I don't see any formation like that driving this one.
You know what else I find interesting about the last cycle, according to this chart? The second peak here, where it only reached 80, was actually the cycle top as in terms of Bitcoin price. The first peak here, it got all the way up to 98, and for all intents and purposes, that was should have been the cycle top. Of course, we all know that the last cycle was manipulated heavily. The whole FTX and Sam Bankman-Fried, et cetera. But it's interesting how low the second peak actually got on this chart, even though the Bitcoin price did make an all-time high. Very interesting to see. We'll have to see how it plays out. As I said, it just takes the average of all of these indicators, which, a lot of people do refer to. Like, for example, the MVRV. A lot of people like using that one. The Peel multiple, the Newpol, the Pi cycle top. People use all of these in one form or another. They kind of combine them and to give them an idea if we're near the cycle top. So this is kind of a neat chart how it takes all of them together. So we will continue to follow this progresses. I don't believe this is I know we do see a double top here, but I don't think this is the cycle top. I can see it maybe not going as high as 97, 98 like in previous cycles, but you know, at least 90, low 90s before I would really start to worry. But again, that's something we'll have to address as the bull market continues. And then the last chart I did want to show is the altcoin season index. Give this a refresh. Clearly, we're nowhere near altcoin season. We have jumped up slightly to a 53. So we are slightly past center. But, as you can see, the last time when everyone was all, jumping for joy, thinking that we were in an altcoin season last month, and it dipped right back down. But, I mean, at least we're remaining neutral. We're not going too far down. That would be the worst case scenario. That would just mean that would be a long time before we get any kind of an altcoin season. So we're at a 53 currently. So we're about average right there. Okay. I think that's it for charts, gentlemen. We got a lot of news to go over. First off, I would like to mention again that nothing on this stream should be considered financial advice. It's just strictly for entertainment and educational purposes only. We're just trying to get you guys to maybe understand this market a little bit better, to make more educated decisions based on your trading and your crypto journey, plain and simply. Okay, so we'll start off with the news. Now, one of the catalysts I had mentioned before that we were kind of watch, which would could dictate which way the Bitcoin price is going to go in the short term, is next week the Bank of Japan policy for their rates is going to be coming out tomorrow at 10:30 p.m. So that, if anyone remembers last month, or I can't even remember how long ago it was, 6 weeks ago, I guess, or so, the Bank of Japan, what's the best way to explain it? I'm a loss for words right now. The cover trade, or the cover trade, is that what it's called?
Carry trades.
Carry trading. Sorry. Yes, I had a brain melt there. The carry trades. That's right. So for anyone that is not sure what that is, when the Bank of Japan hinted at rate hikes, because they were at zero for the longest time, and I believe they either still are at zero or they've raised them at slight 0.25%. I think they are still at zero though. But just the threat of it had people selling off like crazy, and it did affect any risk on assets, speculative assets like crypto, etc. So that's a big announcement tomorrow. Hopefully that isn't bearish news. Hopefully they don't raise the rates too much, if at all, because if they do, that could have a negative effect. We could see a little bit of a dump in the market and quick recovery depending on how strong the market is tomorrow. I'm not sure if you guys have heard anything about that meeting tomorrow. I just actually read about it this afternoon. It's kind of last second check on the news.
I didn't hear nothing about it going forward, or any sort of an outlook for what they're going to do. But just to explain carry trades really quickly to those that might not understand them, it's really, really cheap money available. So people who have that opportunity, they borrow this cheap money from Japan, and then they invest it in some place where it's returning more, right? So then they pocket the difference. So when that goes up, if the borrowing rate goes up, it becomes less efficient, less cost effective to do that, less productive. So they need to sell their assets. They get out of them. So yeah, it produces a downward pressure on markets.
That's actually kind of in a roundabout way similar to what Michael Saylor is doing. He's borrowing on debt at very, very Bitcoin and reaping the rewards of the appreciation in the Bitcoin price.
Yeah, his is more of a snowball effect, though. It's building
big time.
Right? Yeah. I mean, every time the stock in the company goes up, he borrows more money and buys more Bitcoin. And he just said, "Hey, it's really simple. This is the program, and it seems to be working crazy."
The infinite money glitch until the Bitcoin price starts going down and we enter a bear market, which will be interesting to see what happens there. Okay, the other thing, the elephant in the room that we failed to mention is that on Monday, the inauguration occurred. We had the changeover of administrations in the U.S. government. We now have a new president, and we have a pro-crypto, pro-Bitcoin administration, which is really, really nice to see. And he's already started to make changes like almost immediately. As example, one of the ones that I read today is that Senator Cynthia Lummis has officially been named the Senate Banking Subcommittee on Digital Assets, which basically, you know, everyone that has been following politics knows that she's been pro-Bitcoin and has been hollering for a Bitcoin strategic reserve for quite some time. And it looks like she's actually going to get her wish and head that up and bring those types of plans and lay out the groundwork for a reserve, which Bitcoin reserve, which will be phenomenal. So we all know that Trump is pro-Bitcoin, so most likely that would be something that he'd be looking to pass and to put forward. Now, today there was news that President Trump was going to actually sign off on a strategic reserve on Bitcoin, but that's not what happened. Well, the wording that was used was that he's going to create a national digital asset stockpile. So that could be Bitcoin and altcoins in general. There's a few that he's mentioned before. He's got his own project, which is Liberty Financial, and they have been buying different altcoins as well. So that could be just an extension of that. I'll get your guys' opinion as soon as I go through all these headlines. There's so many. Also, President Trump today had a phone call or a conference call with El Salvador's president, Nayib Bukele. For those that don't know, he is obviously very pro-Bitcoin. I believe they buy 1 Bitcoin per day or per week, per day, I believe it is. And they've been stockpiling their Bitcoin, and they have gone from a fairly poor country when he first started buying, and now they're doing very, very well. Crime is down, the economy is up. That was one of the smartest moves he could have made. I remember when he first did it, the WEF, they were basically saying, if you start doing this, we're going to cut you off from funding. Bukele said, I don't care, I'm doing it anyway. And now look at him. He's been doing extremely well. The country is thriving. And being a pro-Bitcoin country, you're seeing a lot of people actually moving there, crypto businesses and so on and so forth, which is awesome to see. Okay, for those headlines, anybody have any comments on any of those, any questions? I know there's a lot to go through, a lot all at once, but there's so much news that came out today.
Well, it's like you said, Trump has definitely been busy. He's also been a little bit under hot water too with his meme coin, right? So seeing if it's considered like a bit of a conflict of interest in a way, right? When you're
Yeah,
kind
I
of president of the United
wasn't even going
States.
to bring that up.
Oh, yeah. So, I mean, just different perspectives of why you see a lot of this volatility showing up in the place, right? Because again, it creates this juxtaposition of money and politics and how it's being utilized or weaponized, right? So it's going to be really interesting. Again, you know, does the Trump meme coin now become part of that CBD situation, right? I mean, why not? It kind of empowers his own face on a coin, right? At the same time, you know, would that create a conflict of interest doing so? So there's a lot of things that perspectives we have to kind of look into. And obviously we want regulation, and we want it to be safe. At the same time, we want it to be honest and transparent. So it's going to be interesting.
Yeah, I agree. I wasn't going to bring up that launch because, you know, it was ridiculous. It sucked liquidity out of a lot of other altcoins, and you know, the volume went sky high. The project jumped the rankings like really, really fast, but it was a meme coin. The timing was suspect. You know, I have mixed feelings on it, so I wasn't even going to touch on it because, you know, then Melania or whatever came out with hers, and then Barron, and then Elon. There's a whole bunch that was launched consecutively, and you know, I don't know if I can get behind that. The timing, like I said, is weird, and I don't know. I just very strange. Anyway,
totally agree.
Yeah. Cruiser, Terry, did you guys have any comments on any of that bullish news that came out today?
Well, there, as far as the Trump side of things go, I think the call for the ethics probe into his involvement in the crypto space. I think put a damper on things. The World Liberty Financial project that he's been tied to is causing, I think it's causing some to be very cautious how they proceed. And I think ultimately that's what, kind of spelled the demise of the Trump coin as quick as it happened. Who knows? It may survive. It may bounce back. But there are a lot of underlying things going on behind the scenes that are probably causing some of this uncertainty.
Well, the World Liberty Financial I can get behind. That's a legit project. Investments into different altcoins and different projects. AI is another big one that they're getting into. RWAs. I can get behind that. That is a legit project, and they're doing things properly there. It was the meme coin that I just really don't get. Terry, what are your thoughts?
Well, I think that Solana was primed for the move anyway, but it's really hard to argue that the launch of that meme coin did not fuel the run. I really feel like it drew a whole bunch of liquidity in, brought out, I think it onboarded people. I don't know that was necessarily good, but I think it brought a lot of liquidity to the Solana ecosystem. Not sure how much of it will remain in it. It's kind of interesting because I feel like the people who were involved in the project took the gains and then rolled them into other assets that people had sold to buy the Trump coin, right? So it's like they did something that sucked the liquidity out of other assets that they then rolled those gains into. It just masterful, actually, in the way it was executed. I don't know that I appreciate it, but it was very well done. And then the other thing is, I think it's better to, as far as a pro crypto administration, it's better to have that than to drive innovation offshore.
Very true. Very true. And I think his whole plan to have the tax breaks on any crypto company that is founded in the U.S. or based in the U.S. Is a good idea as well. It's going to promote adoption and promote building the next generation of crypto and of AI and in the U.S., which is never a bad thing.
What I find most unfortunate about the entire situation is that we still, up here in Canada, have a government who pretty much refuses to acknowledge crypto exists.
Yeah.
So,
well, our government up here, they're on borrowed time.
Yeah, true enough.
Yeah, and the administration that's coming in to replace him, the PC party, that leader Pierre Poilievre, he's pro crypto. So we don't really have to worry about that. We just got to get that dictator out and get him in. Who knows how long that's going to take. Okay, okay. I did want to ask you guys. Actually, I'm going to go over the giveaway here. I'm going to go over the rules and stuff, and then I have a question I want to pose to the panel and see what your thoughts are. So we'll start off with the giveaway. We are going to be doing the giveaway, as I mentioned at the top of the show, for the two Ballet hardware wallets. Now, here are the rules. As I had mentioned, each week starting today for 4 weeks. There'll be a phrase given at random, which I will be giving in a minute here, sometime during the live stream. Leave the phrase as a comment under that week's video. Each correct phrase comment will be entered into the draw. Now, just to make you aware, the way we're going to do it is if you watch all 4 videos and you message with all 4 comments, you will get 4 entries into the draw. So it's a little bonus for those that watch each stream or at least watch the video afterwards. But you can only enter once per week, obviously. Like each video and subscribe to the channel for an extra entry. Contest notes. The host will announce that the phrase is upcoming, which I have just done. It will be not hidden or otherwise obscured. You will know it is coming. No engagement list. Winners will be drawn regardless of number of entries received. You do not have to be watching live to enter, as I mentioned. Beware of scammers. Nobody affiliated with Crypto Roundtable will ever ask you for money or crypto. If someone does claiming to be us, it is a scam. Shipping and postal charges will be covered by us, and winners will be drawn during the live stream on Thursday, February 20th. I will be using like a Twitter picker, a wheel picker, to pick the winner. Now, this is the site here for Ballet. If you want to get any information on this wallet and what it's all about, just come here to ballet.com, and it gives you complete instructions on how to use it. Obviously, the app, download the app. You can use the download link right here. And then it gives you complete instructions on how to use the app, the barcodes, your wallet, how to withdraw, how to deposit, and how much crypto you can actually hold. But it's a physical card, metal card. Very, very neat. Really cool. Fits in your wallet. You can put it in your, wherever you want. It's a different style. I mean, there are a lot of hardware wallets out there like Ledger and Trezor, et cetera, et cetera. But this one is real easy to use. It's simply barcode. You don't have to click in a password or any of that jazz, and then store your crypto right on the card. It's very quick and easy. And so getting back over to us. Okay. So the phrase for this week is going to be Bitcoin strategic reserve. So you just mentioned that in the comment section, either now or after the video. Well, obviously after the video hasn't been uploaded yet. And then you will be entered into the draw. So once again, that is Bitcoin strategic reserve. So that's the giveaway section. Now, the question I have for you guys, I've been thinking about this. I thought about it yesterday, and I've been hearing different ideas and different thoughts on different YouTube videos, YouTubers that I follow. My question to you guys is, in your opinion, outside of Bitcoin, what has been the best product, narrative, or utility in the bull market thus far? And what do you think it will be for the remainder of this cycle? So I'll go around the panel here. I'll start with Juan. Can I get your answer, please?
I mean, it's quite simply Solana right now, man. Solana has been king since it's turned itself around from the early, $12, $13 that it was, to the almighty, 300 it's on pace to hit. So, I mean, it's kind of replacing or taking the part of what Binance was, right? Binance was one of those companies that you would, buy their coins, build liquidity. You would build tons of projects on, and they would again turn more liquidity into itself, hit all-time highs. So very excited about that. And then you look into Solana, and it's replicating, and if not only replicating, I'm gonna say it's successfully multiplied itself in a better way, with projects that are not just pump and dumps, but sustainable. So I don't know how they did that, but they were very, very strong in the market, and also have plans on launching a new phone, right, to replace the previous generation. So you not only have digital intangible assets, but now you have something that's actually tangible, in the space. So those things combined, I think, make Solana right now one of the things that if it's on a discount, you just buy it.
Agreed. Yeah, good analysis there. Terry, what about yourself?
Absolutely agree. It's got to be Solana. Solana is the super alt. It's it's like an index at this point, right? A lot of people use it as a reference, like for other alts, like we used to use ETH. So, and I think it just broke a traffic record, didn't it? Today, yesterday, something.
It did.
24-hour
Yes,
traffic record.
Right.
Yeah, just smashing it.
Yeah. Cruiser.
Well, I'm going to go with the trifecta here and agree. It's definitely Solana. I don't even think that's debatable at this point. And of course, the points I was going to make have been.
Oh, Cruiser froze.
The Matrix got him.
Okay, well, I'm actually surprised that all three of you picked Solana. I shouldn't say I'm surprised because, as everyone knows, I've been touting Solana since it was way down at $20. It was my redheaded stepchild for the longest time, graduated to my darling. But I'm actually not going to agree with you guys on this one. I'm going to say for this market, it has been the meme coin sector. Meme coins have been just completely crazy this cycle. The amount of volume going through Solana, granted, but some of the meme coins have made millionaires. They've just gone crazy. We've seen, in previous cycles, you have a handful that kind of do well, maybe make it in the top 50, top 100 outside Shiba and Dogecoin. But this cycle, you've got so many that are in the top 50. From PopCat, obviously Trump and Melania now as well. But I find that meme coins this cycle has brought in a ton of volume, a ton of good or bad. That's a whole new debate. But the plain and simple fact is, when you talk about crypto to anyone right now, the things that they're going to say is Bitcoin. I'm not even going to put Ethereum up there because Ethereum has really been slacking this cycle. But Bitcoin, Solana for sure. Sui's in that conversation, but meme coins is definitely there. I think the biggest impact on the crypto bull market this cycle has been meme coins so far. And going forward, I think, this AI narrative has really it's really beginning to pick up steam, and it's been around for a long time, clearly. But I think the AI narrative itself is really going to take hold. It started with NVIDIA, and what everyone knows what they did in the stock market side of things. And Solana has really, speaking of Solana again, has really dug their heels into the AI narrative. They've got a lot of really good AI projects coming forth, and a lot of AI companies or projects are trying to work with Solana. The AI tech, the rumors that I've heard on their new Sega phone that's coming out, the integration kind of like when you have Gemini with Android. So we'll have to wait and see how that plays out. But my answer is definitely meme coins this cycle. Okay, so the last thing I wanted to mention as well, do a quick shill here. If you're looking to do any trading, whether it be leverage or spot trading, consider using Bitunix. No KYC, trade from anywhere. They have so many different pairings. They're getting new ones all the time, and their leverage trading fees are really super, super low. So if you do decide you want to check out a new exchange, check out Bitunix. Use the link in the description. It'll really help out the channel. Secondly, the DGens newsletter, which I'm going to share right now. The newest episode has just come out yesterday, and here we go. Here. So the link is in the description. It's a free weekly newsletter, and they will. Let me refresh this. They bring a lot of insight. Different. Decentraland. Look at that. I have not seen that in a long time, since the last cycle. That was one of the big projects of 2020, 2021. Same with the sandbox. But anyway, so they, great articles, great insight, articles on the market, how Bitcoin is doing, Bitcoin dominance, et cetera, using different analysis, different charts. Very informative, and they have a newsletter that comes out every single week. Like I mentioned, they are now on weekly episode 13. So the link is in the description for the sign up to that newsletter, which is free. And then also their Discord link is in the description for that as well. And our very own Terry has started a YouTube channel, and I wish him all the success on that, doing chart analysis. His the link for his YouTube channel is also in the description. Go give him a subscribe and check out his analysis on different crypto. You will definitely learn something. Okay, I'll go around the horn, gentlemen. Anything new or anything else you want to add? Anything I may have missed? I'll start with you, Cruiser.
The only thing I wanted to touch on, we don't talk a lot about Ethereum lately, but
there's a reason for that.
I just wanted to touch on that because I will be watching a little closer. I don't know if everybody's up to date on what's happening over there with the leadership changes. One of the developers, Eric Connor, I think the name was, has left, and Vitalik has suggested staking Ethereum to cover operational expenses over there. So there's a lot of uncertainty over internally with Ethereum right now. So if anybody's wondering why the price is the way it is and has been and will likely continue to be for a little while, it's something I'm watching a little closely for various reasons.
I didn't know that about it. Yeah, I know that the Vitalik and the Ethereum Foundation, they're kind of not at odds, but I think Vitalik wants them to ramp up the work, come out with something, because it's a dying chain, dying really, really fast. But
I think saying that they're at odds is not because there has been talk about creating a secondary Ethereum Foundation from the co-founders. So there's a lot of uncertainty internally. Nothing's off the table at this point. I know they're launching or have launched a new project, Etherealize is what they're calling it. I don't know a whole lot about it just yet, but they're trying to patch things up over there. So there's a lot of uncertainty, and there will be for a little bit. So I'm going to watch that, see how it plays out.
Okay, well, we'll have to wait and see. Terry?
I just think that the markets are uncertain right now. So I don't think we're going to see any decisive moves. Bitcoin probably going to see some ranging action there, and so I would suggest playing that one level to level. So the swings will probably define sub ranges. Look for the couple of swing highs to coincide at a level for a good value point there. Otherwise, just kind of, if you're holding, hold and just wait. Otherwise, just play the smaller swings. Good scalps in there.
Are there any particular altcoins that you're looking at that maybe are at a good buy zone, good area to accumulate before the market does continue?
I don't have any specific recommendations. Obviously, Solana's pretty high up there, but it is an excellent time to accumulate any undervalued alt faves that you may have. Yeah. If there's projects that you personally like, you're involved in, if there's for some reason you have a lot of faith in the project, but it's undervalued like many are right now, good time to accumulate them.
I couldn't agree more. Yeah, there's a few that I'm watching myself that I have been holding for quite some time, and I believe they're going to do really well in the next leg up. So as you said, yeah, trying to accumulate as much as I can before the prices go way too high. Juan G, what about yourself?
A lot of good stuff going on in the market. First, you gotta give a shout out to those ones I've been watching, like XRP. Yeah, it's still holding up above $3, considering the volatility. You look at Solana, still at 253. Good job there. Cardano trying to creep back up to back over $1, though it's been down 11%. Our darling Sui was down 10% from its all-time of $5. So I can see it return as soon as we start pushing back towards the goal of the all season coming back, right? So we'll see how that reflects soon. And then we have gold. Gold hit an all-time high again. I think that's where a lot of that money went into, and I'm really proud of what's going on there. A lot of volatility, good ranging action. So I want to see if it's going to hit 3,000 this year. Looks like that's the plan. Really depends on what the Fed does next, and I think that's what we're kind of standing on right now. Is what's going to happen with the monetary policy of the United States. The right hand of Trump has been very busy signing executive orders after executive orders, some that we agree with, some don't agree with so much. But at the end of the day, I think that it's just causing enough turmoil to be volatile, which is a good thing, right? You want that volatility. So I can't wait to see how, again, like the end of January is really where we're going to see where the market is going to kind of decide its direction. So let's see what we see next.
Awesome insight. Appreciate that. Okay, gentlemen, thank you for joining me on this week's stream. It's always great to have every single one of you on. You bring great insight and opinions to the show. And I guess we will see everyone next week. To everyone listening, don't forget to comment this week's phrase for the Ballet Wallet giveaway. There's 2 of them. And enter the phrase in the comments below the video. And then tune in again next week and then the week after. And then we will have the draw on the February. What was it again, Cruiser? February
20th will be the draw.
February 20th. That's right. All right. I appreciate each and every one of you. Thank you. Don't forget to like and subscribe on the way out. And we will see everyone next week.